Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, the markets tested below yesterday's range and found responsive buyers, pushing ES back up towards yesterday's high. And at this point, looking at ES and NQ, we can see that buyers are still in control. The theme of the Russell TF being relatively weak to the other markets still continues to be in play and is something to be mindful of, but in the S&P and NASDAQ, buyers are still pretty much the dominant side, and as long as we hold above 67 quarter to 69 quarter this morning, buyers can certainly maintain that control, and we can get a move up to the all-time high at 78 quarter, and then potentially even break out above it. NQ already broke out to a new high on the year yesterday, and this morning, as long as S&P can hold above the micro bull bear zone, 67 quarter, 69 quarter, and ideally even above 71, then we could be looking at a breakout move in the S&P as well. As far as the economic calendar goes, retail sales was the main catalyst this morning in pre-market, and then we have Fed Chair Janet Yellen on deck at 9 a.m. Central, so that can also be a market mover, so just be mindful of that around 9 a.m. Central. But as far as our zones go, as long as we're holding above here, the focus will still be more on the long side, and knowing that there's that relative weakness playing out in the Russell, but we also know that the Russell can catch up to the other markets pretty quickly once it actually starts the upside move. So we just don't want to see any big weakness in TF, right? So as long as TF is not selling off, kind of like it did yesterday, and showing just some extreme divergence, we should be all right, and the Russell can put in a catch-up move. But as far as today goes, as long as we hold above here, we'll look for a move up to at least the 77.5 open gap naked VPOC, and with yesterday being a pretty narrow range day, today's breakout above yesterday's high can actually result in a new all-time high. So buyers would be in firm control, and we don't want to take any counter trend or short positions up here unless there is just some clear signs where Russell is selling off. But the idea is that if that's going to happen, then ES won't even reach 77.5. So if we get up here, most likely we will actually get a new high, and above 78 quarter there is no hard resistance, right? That's the all-time high. So at that point, it's really about how much volume and volatility we're seeing on the day time frame, and the market could push up to the up towards the 1980s quite easily. Above 78 quarter, 83 quarter, 85 quarter can quite easily get tested. In the event of a complete failure of this upside move that we've seen, market would have to break below the 67 quarter, 69 quarter to just confirm the downside bias. And then if we get a break below 67 quarter, we want to be careful fading that move, because that could result in downside liquidation, right? That would be essentially a failed breakout, which would mean that anyone who bought yesterday or even in the overnight session and today would then be in a losing position, and you could get a short-term long liquidation type move down to 58 quarter, 60 quarter. The minimum target below 67 quarter would be the open gap at 62 quarter, and we can get some rotation here, but if we break below 67 quarter with any kind of conviction and on volume and momentum, then I don't think the move is going to stop right at initial support. I think that we will probably head lower and test the bull bear zone, and then we'll just kind of have to gauge in real time how weak the market's shaping up to be, right? If we actually head all the way down there, this is the main inflection point down here, and then if we break below here, at that point we could be testing the bottom of the recent range, 51, 53, and potentially lower. But at that point the sell side would be in control short term. So it doesn't mean that we can't take long setups, but we just have to be more careful, and we just have to make sure that we're not fading a liquidation move. We want to let that selling flush out, or ideally be on board on the short side if we actually get any downside momentum break below the micro bull bear zone. So those are the main ideas heading into the open today. The bias will be bullish above 67 quarter, 69 quarter, and ideally we actually hold above 71 and don't even come all the way down here. And as long as that remains the case, then we'll look for a new high. If we break the micro bull bear zone, then the short-term liquidation idea can play out down to initial support, bull bear zone. And just be mindful around 9 a.m. Central with Yellen. And those are the main thoughts. So let's see how well the buy side holds up this morning. NQ is looking good. TF, like I said, is trying to put in a sort of a catch-up move. 1169 to 1170 is the main inflection point in TF. And if we're going to get new highs in ES and a new high on the year in NQ, then TF should be breaking above 69 to 70 today. So we'll be on the lookout for that as well. So that being said, let's see how well the buy side holds up this morning and take it from there.